Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another what the hell's the name? In a World podcast.
Leave it in. Leave it in.
Yes. Oh, leaving it in because it didn't stop the recording. Well, officially welcome back to another episode of the In the World podcast. My name is Burke.
And I'm Ripley.
And of course, we're always on time and scheduled regularly.
And we always have the smoothest intros in the business.
Oh, professionals. Straight professionals. This is a podcast where Ripley and I talk about things that interest us in movies and entertainment in general. As always, you can email us your suggestions, topics, questions at theinnerworldpodcast@gmail.com or even on Twitter at innerworldpod. So, Ripley, what's up, man? How's it going?
It's going pretty good, man. You know, I saw, I guess the greatest thing I saw was the movie Venom.
Okay.
That's just the latest of the... Is it Marvel movies?
Yeah, right?
It's kind of a Marvel movie, but it's also not. It resides in that weird Sony Marvel-averse where they sold the rights back to Marvel for Spider-Man, but they have all the ancillary Spider-Man characters.
Yeah.
Like a Venom, for instance.
So are they piecemealing it?
It's kind of weird. And you know what's weird is going into it, I thought, this is a Venom movie without Spider-Man.
Yes.
And it didn't bother me at all.
Good.
Yeah, it was amazing.
I think having Spider-Man in there would cheapen the...
Oh, like it would just be down
feel.
to like a one-on-one Spider-Man versus Venom?
Yeah.
And who's the better Spider-Man?
It's like a teenage romping through Venom land.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like,
you know, it would have completely dumbed it down, I think.
Oh, well, that would have been hard to do.
No.
Because it was pretty dumb.
Okay.
This is a movie, and this is full spoilers for Venom.
Yes.
This is a movie where it was very much a Sony movie. So, Sony, in conjunction with Marvel, did Spider-Man Homecoming.
Okay.
Which I thought was a pretty good movie. But you could definitely see that Marvel interjected the Marvel juice
The Marvel spice.
The Marvel spice into the Sony world. This one was a lot more Sony, a lot less Marvel. For instance, the very beginning sequence, and again, full spoilers for Venom, everything happens within a ridiculously short amount of time. It starts out, we're introduced to Eddie Brock.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we're introduced to hotshot reporter Eddie Brock, who, wearing a bunch of bracelets.
Yes, bracelet man.
So many bracelets. I don't know why he needs all those bracelets. So,
were they themed bracelets like, you know...
I picked up on... You know what's weird? I saw this movie in 3D, so I had 3D bracelets. 3D bracelets.
They're jumping out at you.
And that was the only thing I noticed being in 3D the whole time. Like, as soon as it was like 3D, you know, that initial, oh, cool, it's 3D. Look at how many bracelets. You can really see them in 3D.
Right.
And then I didn't notice anything else being in 3D the rest of the movie. So I don't know if it's just a bad print of 3D.
Yeah, you're just hypersensitive to bracelets.
Yes, it is. Like, what's going to be better than bracelets? So he's a hotshot reporter. He crosses the wrong people who happen to have these alien symbiotes in their midst.
So did he stumble upon the story, or
it's like a separate sort of story of these guys are bad guys anyway. This evil scientist corporation,
right? As they always are.
Always, and then his girlfriend, played by Michelle Williams, who I've read is really good in this movie, but I didn't see any evidence of that. It looked like she was phoning it in for a paycheck.
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So she's the lawyer for these guys, this evil corporation. So he gets privy to some inside info, reports on it, confronts the head guy about it, played by... I forget who it was played by. It was played by the Nightcrawler guy. Let me effort that real quick.
Is it right?
Is it Rice? Anyway, he meets up with this guy. He confronts him about it. That gets him fired. That gets his girlfriend to leave him.
Wait, it gets Eddie fired.
Eddie gets fired from his newspaper gig. Also, he's there interviewing him.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a guy with like a video camera.
Okay.
So I'm not really sure what era this was supposed to be in, but I'm talking like a TV.
Oh, like big old...
Like putting a tape in it.
Oh, VHS.
Like a VHS-looking video camera. So I don't know if that was just to really jam home that, hey, this guy's a news reporter. But I feel like...
He's just going very old school.
I feel like there's a certain segment that are just confused. Of like, what is that?
Yeah, that makes sense, too. Because what the hell with the bracelets? Who wears bracelets nowadays?
That's a good point. Right? So it felt like a movie from like 2004.
Oh.
So maybe it was just the script down to cameraman has VHS recorder.
Yes.
And they just went with it. Riz Ahmed. There we go.
There it is.
I knew it was Riz something or other. But he was the guy from Nightcrawler.
Yes, Nightcrawler.
Jake Gyllenhaal's understudy? Apprentice? The guy that blackmails him and then he gets him killed. Full spoilers for Nightcrawler.
Right. So I mean... What you said it's a Sony movie.
Yes.
So dark story was thrown at you within the first 5 minutes.
Way too many cuts, way too many edits.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like just chopped up.
Right.
So this opening sequence, which couldn't have been more than 5 or 10 minutes, you get who this guy is, what his job is, this is his love interest, he's after these people, he gets fired. She leaves him because, he like stole information from her.
Right.
He's at the bar. He's down on his luck. All within like 10 minutes.
And now it's all gone to shit.
And you're like, this is laughable. Like this, just really odd pace. Mm. So, meanwhile, while Eddie's drinking his sorrows away, spaceship crashes.
Yes.
Alien symbiotes are on there.
Right. Did he see?
No, he did not. They start the evil scientist guy gets his hands on him. They start doing some tests. If the symbiote, which is like a parasite, doesn't bond to you 100%, it kills you. Okay. Mm-hmm. So people are going down left and right.
Yeah.
There's a scientist there played by Jenny Slate, who was also really good, but was barely in the movie. Huh. She's in there. She calls Eddie Brock. She's like, "Hey, there's these alien things that are killing people. I don't know why, but I'm going to call you."
Right? You're the one that can blow the lid off.
You're the one. If anybody can do it, it's down in his luck reporter, Eddie Brock.
It's the bracelets.
I don't know why she would have called this guy.
It's the bracelets.
This is
chicks
proof.
Love bracelets.
Here's the chicks do love bracelets. This has to be proof that it's not in the same universe as the Avengers. Because you could have called Falcon. You could have called.
Yeah, right.
Any number of people.
Avengers, please.
It's called Hawkeye. What are you doing?
Could this be after the snap and everything's low tech now? Leading into a Blade Runner situation?
Oh, no. See, now you've gone down a rabbit hole. This is way too cool for Sony.
Yeah, I know.
You say that to a Sony executive's head would explode. No, so he goes in. Of course, the symbiote gets him.
Yeah.
So now he's got the Venom symbiote, right?
So how does he get in contact with the symbiote? Is it like he stepped in it and wanted to wipe off his shoe? Because that's how I imagine it.
No, he sees somebody with it, and they're doing pretty badly, like in like a cell.
Oh, so like they're about to die.
He infiltrates this like science facility,
so he's
right?
Like secret mission.
Yeah, secret mission. The other scientist gets him in, right? Jenny Slate scientist gets him in. The scientist with the conscious. He breaks the glass. This person drops dead. The symbiote jumps out of that person and gets him, right?
Okay.
So now you come into a part of the movie that I thought was great, and it's Tom Hardy figuring out like how to use the symbiote, and the symbiote's talking to him, and then the symbiote he'll have a conversation with himself, but it's Venom talking to him and Eddie Brock talking to Venom, and I thought that whole part was great. I thought it was like buddy comedy thing, right? So of course the evil people get wind of Eddie Brock has the symbiote.
Yeah.
They come after him. There's a big fight. The Venom symbiote is its like own character. Okay. and it's often saying, Eddie, we're going to eat people, right? And Eddie's like, no, we can't eat people.
No, I can't eat people.
He's like, no, I'm going to eat everybody. I'm going to, devour their heads and eat their brains.
Oh, yeah, he starts.
And then at some point in there, Venom's like, I like everybody. We should save the world.
What?
And it's really weird. Tom Hardy claims that there was 40 minutes of this movie taken out.
Yeah.
That was like the best 40 minutes.
Right.
And I imagine it had something to do with this transition.
That was that transition.
Of what happened.
Oh, Eddie had a heart-to-heart with Venom.
Maybe Eddie and Venom had like a bonding thing.
It's like, listen, man.
They went to a ball game.
Got a lot of indigestion with these livers and spleens.
But, so eventually it gets around to, also another thing that just switched, is the Riz Ahmed character, Dr. Evil.
Sure.
He gets a symbiote too, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay, because why not?
And it's not Carnage.
It's not Carnage. It's Riot. So they introduce a bunch of comic book symbiotes here. They have Riot and Scream, and I didn't actually see Carnage.
The rest of the Transformers, yeah.
Right. Yeah, Havoc. Generic 90s type name.
Yes.
So Riz Ahmed gets his symbiote suit, right? And just out of nowhere, he's like, we're going to take a spaceship to this meteor and get a bunch more of these symbiotes.
Yes.
So this was really laughable because then it cuts to, he's got a rocket ship at the end of like this runway. And he's like,
really?
We're blasting off tonight.
Same day.
And you're like, what?
He's got the pool, man.
They put together a space mission in like a few hours? It's amazing. So they have a fight. Venom versus Riot.
Is it on top of the rocket?
It's on the rocket. It's on the rocket, of course.
It is?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh my
It's on
God.
the rocket. What do you think it was going to be on? We've got a rocket. We're not going to not have a fight on it. So, sorry. Oh, you got me all tripped up on that.
Yeah,
Riot, who's like a lot better than Venom.
Yeah.
He can do the web axes, or not. I guess they're not webs. Symbiote axes.
Okay, yeah.
He can make like stuff happen. He's like really great, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's like the best.
Like the leader of the symbiotes.
He's the best symbiote, right? Venom's just kind of not that great.
Yeah.
So of course, Venom defeats him because the enemies of the symbiote are fire and sound.
Okay.
So they do some sound stuff on him. Then he sets him on fire with the rocket exhaust or whatever.
Man. It's double whammy.
And you're like, but you're led to believe Venom got eaten up by the fire too, right?
Oh, okay.
So now we're at the end of the movie, and he's talking to Michelle Williams, and she's like, hey, I'm sorry that Venom's not with you. And you hear him be like, oh, do you think she's ever going to figure this out? Right? And it was like so bad, and it was dumb, but I liked it.
But you liked it.
Yeah, I liked it. Like, I'm watching it, and I think I even texted you during the movie.
Yeah,
this movie's bad.
Yeah, I remember.
Right?
I remember that.
Yeah, but it was entertaining. Tom Hardy is great. He's a guy where it's like, I can't tell if he's good at acting.
Or just bumbling
or
through.
It's just so wacky that it's like fun to look at. But
maybe that's what they intended the whole time. Just like shenanigans.
See, I don't think the Sony guys are clever enough to put that together. I think this was like a happy accident. Like they were trying to make a serious thing, and it just ended up.
Yeah, that 40 minutes of content really changed it.
That missing 40 minutes. But I liked it, and I give it 3.5 out of 5 bracelets.
Bracelets,
on the bracelet scale.
Nice. Nice. Did you actually count the bracelets? Do you know how many there were?
There was way more than 5. I guess I need to give it. I guess I need to go back and count.
Yeah. It was there in 3D, so
some sort of ratio out of how many were actually there. But yeah, so Venom was there. I also went to Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah, you went a couple times.
I've gone twice.
Yeah,
and their properties this year, it's haunted houses, so it's a walk-through, scary attraction at a theme park. It's based on popular movies this year, especially popular like 80s or 80s themed movies. So there's a Stranger Things haunted house. There's a Poltergeist haunted house. There's a Michael Myers Halloween. Some stuff like that. It got me thinking, what type of haunted house based on horror movie or scary movie would you be interested in seeing?
Oh man, I'll be honest with you. the poltergeist and the, Michael Myers knife branding person, that doesn't scare me at all.
Right.
Right? Those are just kind of like, okay, this dude trying to kill somebody.
Yes.
Run and hide.
The slasher movies, I agree. Not much tension there, really.
Yeah, and then like Poltergeist to me had a great premise of the girl, disappearing into this other dimension until it was all just summed up to be ancient Indian burial ground.
Right.
Right. So, for me personally, I think like exorcism type movies and things that you don't really see the bad guy, the thing that's causing the horror.
Okay. Yeah.
It's not seen, but it's heard and it's felt.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So I would think like, let's say, have you seen The Exorcism of Emily Rose?
I have not.
No. So that changed up for me, the exorcism type movies.
Right.
Because they were very formulaic in the sense of, okay, somebody gets possessed. There's a question of whether this is really a possession. And then the church almost takes its sweet-ass time almost to the end to say, okay, let's help. This one was more, It was kind of like that, but then they switched it up where it was like, oh, we need to help now because she's freaking the fuck out.
Okay.
Right? And there was a lot of, again, heard and felt in that movie that there's something ominous. For me, if you take a type of movie like that and are able to take that concept into a horror house, that would scare the hell out of me.
So something like is it like the body invasion type of thing, or is it just like this unknown force?
Yeah, unknown thing that you can't contain, you can't see, you don't know where it is.
Okay.
Right? Because that's the other thing with haunted horror houses is like the guy standing around the corner about to jump scare you, and y'all could see him a mile away.
Well, yeah, or like, in the case of stuff I was at, there's this big cool set, and you can see like a drape, curtains basically that the guy's hiding behind. You're like, well, chances are he's going to come out of there. Or they do the thing where here's a loud noise on your right. So you're going to look to your right.
Yeah.
Well, there's probably something coming from the left. And so you just hear the loud noise and don't look that way.
Right.
And you see the guy coming up. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think, when I'm starting to think about, like, what... If I were to create a haunted house that would genuinely scare me...
Yeah.
It would have to be, like, a whole experience type thing. More than, like, 30 minutes to an hour. Of like
goodness. Okay.
Like going
You're talking
in,
like total immersive thing.
Yes, because those type of things take me out of it. Oh, there's a noise here. Okay, something's gonna be right here. You know what I'm saying? But if you walk into something not knowing what to expect, and given a length of time where maybe your guard's down a bit, right, and then that's where it starts ramping up and getting you. That I think for me would be great.
So you're talking like just a full on like almost a whole show.
Yeah.
But then so what would that look like? Like they invite you over to dinner and they're like, oh, by the way, somebody's possessed upstairs.
I gave it some thought, and this is outlandishly ridiculous. Okay,
awesome.
But we're gonna go with it because it's podcast world and whatever.
Sure.
So, let's say you buy a ticket to this experience.
Okay.
That within 2 weeks, something's going to happen. And you give yourself, you sign all the waivers, you sign all the things.
Yeah.
Say that, and within these guidelines, something's going to happen. Either, I don't know, you get kidnapped or you get invited to a place to go hang out that's completely innocuous,
this
right?
Is insane. Yes,
yes,
I love it. Okay, keep going.
Right, hey, I'm going to Ripley's birthday party, right?
Yeah.
Go there, but no, it's not your birthday.
It'd be great if you came to my birthday party. I appreciate that.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you walk in, everything seems normal, and then it just starts to go to hell. And you don't even know why.
Now, in this, would they have like fake outs? Would it be like, hey, come to this thing, and you get there and it's just something like mundane?
Yeah.
And so it kind of lulls you. Yeah. Oh, boy. Yeah. It kind of lulls you to sleep a bit.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I think like 2 weeks, the first few days you're gonna be like, okay, it's any moment now something's gonna happen. You go through time. Okay, I get invited to this thing. Oh, this is it. Damn, no, that wasn't it. And you just go through life, and then in 2 weeks, when you least expect it, it just bam, it gets you.
That's the thing is, I feel like there's a market for something like that. I mean, it would be a crazy thing to pull off.
Right. The legal thing on that.
The legality alone is probably impossible to get through.
Mm-hmm.
But I really feel like, because I just read this, when I was at Halloween Horror Nights, there were 43,000 people there.
Yeah.
So there's a market for people that want to be scared.
Yeah.
Right? That's why they keep making horror movies. I feel like there's something there.
Yeah, and I even talked to a buddy of mine who did this kind of zombie house or something. And it's not a regular thing, but apparently what happened, and it was in Georgia, where these people leased out an old hotel.
I was thinking hotel when you were talking about
3-story hotel.
To maybe contain it a little more.
Right, yeah. And you had like a group of, let's say, 10 people, right? So you pay your money, you go in, and they split you up to different rooms in this hotel. As
you do.
Right?
In a haunted hotel, first thing you have to do is split up.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the goal of that was to survive the zombie attack,
mm-hmm.
to, get your teammates, and the most amount of teammates that survive come out of it, you get some score or whatever.
Okay.
So each room had, like, let's say you were in one room and it had a gun but no ammo. And another friend of yours had all the ammo,
I got you.
But you got to navigate this whole hotel
mm-hmm.
in order to use that. That kind of concept, I think, is great, too.
Yeah.
Because that gets you in a sense of, I'm by myself and I need to go help.
So right. So your thing is like enough. You have to have enough time to suspend your disbelief enough.
Yeah.
To where it's a genuine reaction. It's not just it's a loud noise.
Right. It's not 5 minutes of walking in a zigzag.
Because ultimately, I know that the dude in the haunted house is just a guy getting paid $12 an hour to jump out.
Exactly.
Every so
and
often.
He's drinking coffee or something.
Oh, right, with the ghoul mask.
Yeah.
Like the ghoul mask is up on his head, and he's like, can you believe these guys?
Yeah, I think for that, some kind of complete experience would be great.
Wow, that's awesome. That's a lot better than what I had. I was just going to go with, wouldn't it be cool if they made one where it was like Alien?
Well, you actually go up on the Tesla SpaceX thing.
Well, I was just thinking, like, if you could capture that weird, like, how an Alien and they make it, like, organic. Like, the aliens would come in and, like, their nests, and it would almost be like goo places, right? And then you'd have somebody that, a chest burst or scene come out.
Yeah.
Maybe even every once in a while. What if you had somebody, like, planted in there? Like, in your line of tourists, you have like, a plant, right?
Well, he's the one that gets the chest buster
and he gets,
out.
And a chest buster comes out, or a face hugger grabs him, or something like that, right? And then maybe that would be cool.
Well, yeah, see, that could work because, like a couple is in on it, right?
Yeah.
They seem normal. The guy gets face hugged.
Yes.
And the chick is just freaking out.
Screaming, like, what the hell's going on?
No, get me out. Yeah. And all of a sudden, it's like fake puking. And then all of a sudden, the chest buster. Yeah.
See, that'd be great.
Yeah,
right?
That'd be cool.
I also thought, I don't know how you would do this, but if you could somehow do like a underwater Jaws. I mean, you'd have to be like, you'd have to be cool with getting wet and everything. But like, you come into a room and it's like half full of water and maybe it's filling up and there's a shark on the loose or something like that.
Well, our things are not that different from each other in the sense that it immerses you in an experience.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So it's something that you're going to have to go through instead of just
having a walk.
Yeah,
through a soundstage with cool stuff.
Right. People holding you back because the other person is screaming.
Whoa.
Sorry, something's going to happen.
Okay. Go ahead. Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, sure. I mean, but really, ultimately, to me, the scariest of the haunted house situation would be you just go into a room and there's like 10 toddlers in there. And you're just like,
oh, Daddy!
Get me out of here! This is the most horrifying thing I could think of. Where's the axe murderer?
And you got to do a paternity test.
Oh no! You got to wait for the results. You got to talk to your lawyer.
Maury Povich is there. Is that his name?
Maury Povich. I think that's a guy. So horrifying.
Oh man, no, but yeah, if they start changing into experiences like that, if Halloween Horror Nights or the equivalent of what is it, Busch Gardens has.
Busch Gardens, Hallow Scream.
Hallow Scream.
Really,
yeah.
all your major regional theme parks have some sort of scary haunted house situation.
Hell, I'd pay some good money to do that.
Well, you'd have to because that's not.
Yeah,
they can't herd a bunch of people through there. Like that's going to take some time to put together.
Of course.
To reset. Are you going to have the chest burster come out a guy? You just got to keep like on a loop.
It's got to be like pig's blood. It's got
to look authentic. It can't just like open up like you can see on his chest where it's going to come out.
It's actually a person with a defect.
We found a guy missing a chest.
Yeah, his heart is outside of his body.
Hey, he needs work too.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man. So, what about some trailers that have been out there? Have you seen anything new?
Well, going on to the horror theme, I know I saw the Pet Cemetery trailer.
Yeah, that's one I wanted to talk about too.
Yeah, and I don't know how you felt about it, but I thought as a trailer that this was an excellent trailer.
Yeah, I think it didn't leave anything to be like, oh, they changed it.
Okay,
right?
Yes, I feel like this is something, if you're familiar with the book or the original movie, it was recognizable enough that you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I remember when that happened, right? I remember the premise of this.
Yeah.
But I also feel like if you knew nothing about this, it wasn't like too much. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? It didn't like give away too much.
Yeah. It gave you enough to know what it's about.
Right.
And you're just going to have to go and see the movie to figure it out.
Yeah.
I was surprised to see John Lithgow in there.
Yeah.
I was wondering where he's been at, and I'm glad he's
there
back.
There he is. Now, my one note, I made a John Lithgow note.
Yes.
It was basically it just says, I'm looking at my notes here, Lithgow, not New England enough.
Yeah, because it is Boston, right? It's
actually north of Boston. If you remember original recipe Pet Cemetery, the guy was like crazy New England. He was like, don't bury my blah.
Yeah.
Don't go up there, the line's bad.
The kids out there, huh?
Yeah, it was like crazy New England. And Lithgow's just sort of Lithgow.
Right. Yeah. Oh, who is the guy? The research team is getting on it now.
Research team. What are we researching?
We're researching what the guy's name was.
The character name?
The actor's name.
Of the old man from the first Pet Cemetery?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, was it? It was the guy. His name is Judd Crandall? No.
Okay.
Is it? No. Sorry, that's the character's name. Fred Gwynn.
Fred Gwynn, okay.
I'm trying to think of... He was on a TV show. I think he was on a TV show.
I feel like I've seen that guy, like character actor. He's one of those guys.
Yeah. I want to say he was in The Munsters.
Was he in The Munsters?
Yep, he was in The Munsters. He was Herman Munster.
That was Herman Munster?
That was who it was.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I remember him as like a Frankenstein-looking dude. I didn't want to say Frankenstein.
Well, he's just a reasonable knockoff of Frankenstein.
But no, yeah, it seems to be the trailer, at least, like a shot-for-shot remake, just in the trailer.
Yes.
Lithgow has definitely...
He's getting his tendon sliced, isn't he?
Yeah, something's going down.
He's gonna get his Achilles tendon sliced.
Yeah, something's going down with him. But I feel like he's being a little pansy because
he knows. Oh yeah,
yeah.
Guy.
Munster knew all about it.
Munster did know. Herman had it scoped out. He's like, don't go up there.
Yeah. You don't want to find out what's over there.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, Lithgow needed to. That would have been my only direction. Be like, could we go more New England?
Yeah, and more grizzled old man. Because he had the right look.
He had the right look.
But I don't think he effectively...
I think you see him before you hear him. And I was fully expecting some New England. I didn't get it. That's fine. But no, I thought the trailer was excellent. I thought it was paced really well. I thought the music was cool. I thought they kind of used that Stranger Things graphic.
They so did.
Yeah, right?
They so did.
Just
because I saw the credits like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, guys.
Yeah, and there'll be a segment of people that go to that thinking it's a Stranger Things
Of course.
something.
Of course.
So, yeah. But I thought the trailer was great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one of the better trailers I've seen in a while. All that being said, probably won't go see it.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen it already.
I've seen it already, exactly. Like, oh, that's neat. They're doing that again.
Do you think that the main guy in this new one, the father, is what Hardy will look like in like 20 years?
Maybe. He kind of already...
There's some kind of resemblance there. It's not totally in the face, but there is some
That guy was in one of the recent attempts at Terminator. He was the bad guy, right. John Connor.
That's right.
Yeah. Spoilers for recent Terminator.
Of 5 years ago.
John Connor's the bad guy. I think they said that in the trailer, though. I think that was spoiled in the trailer.
Put it right away.
Just get it out of the way. John Connor's a bad guy, folks.
Jesus.
Yeah, Terminator. I thought trailer was great. Music, the pacing, didn't give too much away. Familiar enough, but also... If you have no idea what that is.
Yeah, you go in fresh pair of eyes.
You go in fresh, yeah.
So horror movies in general, because we've been talking about it.
Yeah, 'tis the season.
Yes, it is October. So, what are some of your favorite scary movies? Do you have any?
This is tough. We've had this conversation a lot. There's not too many movies that I think are scary.
Yeah.
Because so often the formula is... person is really stupid, right?
Yes.
They continually make stupid decisions. Like we talked about Poltergeist.
Yeah.
As soon as Carrie Ann gets sucked into the TV.
No, way before that.
Well, you know what? You're right. I'll give them first child sucked into the TV. Okay? I want to give them that.
Okay.
Because maybe the chair moving around is fun.
I mean, that's kind of a cool...
That's kind of fun.
Babe, look at this, you know?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
As soon as the child gets sucked into the TV, guy from Coach needs to say, wife, other children, leave and do not come back.
Exactly.
And I don't care what you tell me. I'll hang out here and figure out this situation. Yeah. All the other children get out of here.
Yeah.
Maybe mom can stay. Other children have to go to their grandparents' house. They have to get out of there.
Yeah.
What are they doing? So... Therefore, as soon as you're like, well, they're not leaving. They're hanging around. I don't really care.
Yeah. The only one that had the smartest idea was the oldest daughter, who she was a slut. Okay, because apparently in that movie, and I didn't know when I was younger, because of course I didn't understand.
Yes, correct.
But when I rewatched it, she's coming home with Hickey. She's recognizing what hotel they're going to go to before they go to it. It's like,
so she's like, I know how to handle this.
Yeah, I got it.
This is my escape plan. Yeah, for me, I don't know that those, we kind of talked about the slasher movies.
Yeah. The
Michael Myers, Jason, Freddy.
Yeah, and I got a bone to pick with those movies.
Okay.
Because, and I'm sorry to interrupt with your
You got
choice.
a boneyard to pick those movies.
I just went French for a second.
You did.
So, you got Michael Myers. What the hell is his story? Nobody can give me, and I've asked a few people, nobody can give me a definitive...
I'll take a stab at it.
Yeah. And keep in mind...
Not intended.
Yeah. And keep in mind, Rob Zombie rebooted the thing.
Oh, that's right.
For no stupid reason.
Yeah.
Right?
I think I've only seen maybe 2 of the Halloween movies. I've seen Original Recipe Halloween.
Yeah.
Where the backstory there is it's Halloween night and Michael Myers is a kid, maybe not quite a teenager.
Okay.
And he murders his sister. Okay?
Okay.
So the parents come home and they're like, ah! And he's like stabbed her to death with a big old knife, right?
Right.
So they send him away to a mental institution. And then it's flash forward however many years. It's Halloween night again. And he escapes. And then Donald Pleasance, the little doctor guy, comes after him. And he's like, I can't believe that he's escaped. I know he's a psychopath. But in the same time, he's like, this kid's a psychopath. He would just sit there for hours at a time. And it's like, well, which is it? Did he sit there quietly? Or did...
Waiting his time.
Yeah, which is it? Was he a psychopath? Or did he just sit there quietly? So, I don't know. That's the story. That's the backstory that I'm familiar with.
Okay.
Are you referring to when did he become like an unstoppable monster with superhuman strength?
So, what the hell's with the mask?
Okay, right.
What the hell is with him being unkillable?
Right, correct.
And why the knife?
The knife, I think, is a callback to when he was a kid and he stabbed his sister to death. But as far as the superhuman strength, unstoppable, because he's shot, he's set on fire.
Yeah,
he's dropped off of buildings and all kinds of stuff, and he just keeps getting up. So I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't watched all the movies.
Yeah.
And I know that
it's always good to speculate when we haven't seen them.
Exactly, right, exactly.
Yeah.
The answer could be out there, but I don't care to find out.
Yeah, right.
It's just...
Tell you what, Rob Zombie, if you're listening, tell us why we should watch your version of Halloween.
Exactly. And then I think about Jason.
Sort of a similar guy, right?
Right? He's got a knife, a machete.
Most of the time he's got a machete, yeah. He's
got a mask. It's the hockey mask.
Right.
And he's unstoppable.
And if you remember his origin, that's Friday the 13th movie, right?
Yeah.
The first Friday the 13th, it's his mom that's killing people.
Oh.
And she's like,
yeah, that's right.
And like he lives at the bottom of the lake or something.
Didn't he drown?
He drowned.
The campers.
He drowned.
Right, drowned.
I'm doing air quotes.
Yeah.
He drowned.
Yeah.
So his mom is the one killing the camper or whoever.
Yeah.
The camp counselors. And then at the very end, if you remember, she's out in the boat on the lake, and she's like, "Oh, this was such a horrible night. Kevin Bacon got murdered, and now, but I made it through. I'm all good." And then Jason comes up out of the lake and gets her, and
drags his mom.
Well, he does kill his mom, doesn't he?
Why does he kill his mom?
God, his movies aren't very good, are they?
And then apparently he was in space.
That's you know what? I saw the one where he was in space. I did see the one where he was in space. That one's pretty good for a laugh.
Yeah. The only one that I kind of know is Freddy Krueger.
Freddy, sure. Comes out in dreams.
Right, in dreams, which is kind of a cool concept. And either he was or was not a pedophile.
I think he was a I think he was a pedophile.
And then like the townspeople
killed him.
Burned him alive in a boiler room?
Something like that. Yeah, took the law in their own hands.
Which equals him haunting people in dreams? I don't understand that. Where does that
kind of a big leap,
right?
That was the first Freddy Krueger, which is Nightmare on Elm Street.
Right.
Johnny Depp gets killed by the bed. Yes.
That was a bloody death.
That was so much more blood than would be in a human person. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people like those, and I see the costumes all over the place.
Yeah.
To me, they're stupid. I don't understand what the like is to those movies, because there really isn't a concrete background story for that. It's this guy, unstoppable force, gonna kill people.
Right. It's retconned over and over.
Yeah.
Like almost to fit the needs of whatever they need next. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think my favorite version of Freddy Krueger was from the Rick and Morty episode. Do you remember where they were inceptioning people? And they're in the dreams, and then the Freddy Krueger knockoff guy shows up.
Exactly.
I think Rick even says it's a reasonable knockoff of
and then
80s horror icon.
They go into his dream.
That's right.
Jesus.
Oh boy, that's my favorite Freddy Krueger. But no, I think if I'm going to go to my list here, we talk about maybe some like early versions of the horror movie. You got like the Nosferatu.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is supposed to be great. But...
Well, there's a creep factor to that.
It is pretty creepy.
And I think it does a good job of creeping people out. It creeped me out. Even when I watched it, a 20-year-old watching...
well, but yeah, I mean, you're almost creeped out from the technology of the...
Yeah, the lack of sound.
The lack of sound, the way it looks. Like, I mean, it is sort of unsettling, right? But yeah, you have like Nosferatu. You've got like the early Frankenstein, Wolfman, Dracula movies. Are those any good? No, they're not any good, are they? No.
Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy or something.
Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy. I mean, I think we can agree the best Frankenstein is Young Frankenstein with
Gene
Gene Wilder.
Wilder.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the greatest one ever. And the dude from Everyone Loves Raymond.
That's right, the dad. He's Frankenstein. I think if I think about movies that maybe scary is maybe not the right word, but unsettling.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like the Cronenberg. Do you know David Cronenberg, the director? He did The Fly and Scanners and Videodrome.
Yes.
Those movies where the guy's like body is like violated in a really weird way.
Yeah.
Right? And like again, maybe not scared, but just sort of like kind of cringe and like move around in your seat.
Yeah, it makes you feel uncomfortable.
Where Jeff Goldblum's like pulling parts of his body off and the fly, and you're just like, ooh, let's go without that. And that part in Scanners where the dude's head explodes.
Yeah.
Right?
That was awesome.
Classic. Videodrome is the one where they're putting out like a weird signal, and James Woods keeps falling asleep watching TV, and like the signal's like messing with him. And what's real and what's not. Mm-hmm. And he wakes up and he has like this big like slit on his chest, and it's very vaginal looking. And he starts sort of toying around with it. And it's just like you're just like, what is this? What is happening? So I think those movies are pretty unsettling. I know Cronenberg is sort of the master of that body horror like genre, and body horror that's almost to Alien too.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that.
Right. Mm-hmm. You know, that thing comes and like puts an egg in your mouth. I mean, basically,
impregnates you.
It kind of impregnates you.
Orally.
It's really something. And then that thing invades your body and bursts out. You know, I think those type of things are the most unsettling.
Yeah, there's definitely a grotesque factor to that. Even the Thing, the
Thing, absolutely.
The mutations of that.
Yeah, John Carpenter's The Thing from the early 80s with Kurt Russell,
Gremlins, too. I'm not Gremlins 2, but Gremlins as
Gremlins
well.
2, the new batch. It's a great movie. I love that one.
No, it's like that mutation aspect of it. And then there's like ooey gooey nastiness. You know?
Yeah, the stalking killer coming after you.
It's been there, done that.
Yeah, just turn the lights on. Why is everybody running around without the lights on?
Exactly. Don't be an idiot. Don't stick around.
Don't be an idiot.
Just leave.
Don't stick around. If you see a scary house and you're like, oh, our car broke down. No, just keep walking.
So never go to a lake party at night.
Never.
Right?
No, right. If you're a teenager, don't have sex.
Yes, don't do
That's
it.
the best way to get killed.
Abstinence is your friend.
What else? What else do you got?
For me, as I mentioned before, like those possession type movies.
Okay, so it's sort of the same vein. It's something where it's a little bit more like intimate.
Yeah.
Right?
It's something you cannot control.
Right.
And it can happen at any point in time. And then also where, like, do you remember The Descent?
Yeah, I do remember this.
That freaked me out too.
Okay.
But when you saw those like Smeagol looking dudes, that took me off of it. I was like, no, I no longer want to, But up until that point, it was like, well, this is a freaky movie.
Okay.
And then for me, there's also Event Horizon.
Oh, Event Horizon's a
okay.
good call.
Now, the movie is not that great.
No, it's not.
Okay? It's not. But I think the whole part of like this ship that got transported to hell,
right,
and came back,
right,
and there's an audio recording of the crew that going through torture, and this whole thing, everything happens from there. That freaks me out. That story itself freaks me out.
Now that's the one where Dr. Grant from Jurassic Park, and he doesn't have eyes at the end, right?
At the end, he has no eyes.
Oh man, that one is good.
It's great.
I haven't seen that one in a long time. I might have to give that one another go.
The other thing about that movie, and it happens also in demonic possession movies, there's always a scene where somebody is playing back audio, right?
Yes.
And it's like garbled or whatever. And either they slow it down or they put it in reverse, and you hear some demonic, weird stuff that makes sense. that as a child, when seeing those type of things in the movie, scared the living hell out of me.
Yes.
Right? Even today, I get a sense of like goosebumps and, the hair standing up in the back of my neck just when that type of thing happens.
A very sort of visceral type of thing. It's not just, again, it's not just there's a ghoul out there and he's coming after you.
Right.
Yeah. You bring up a good point, though. How much of the horror movie genre is contingent upon, like, when you were a kid and you watched those movies? Like something like It. And now it's a thing again.
That's a very good point, because going back to the whole Michael Myers, Jason, stuff like that, a lot of people were children seeing that.
Yeah.
And that, oh my God, somebody's coming for me and I can't stop them.
Right.
Right? Going into it now and all the different movies, I could see, because you had that feeling as a child, it's going to be scary for you now.
Right.
Unless you really just take an outside view of it and say, this is shit.
Well, yes. I think it is part of, like, reliving the childhood, because if you watch those, like, as an adult, and you're like, I mean, they're hilarious.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they're not scary in any way.
I mean,
it's just funny and laughable.
Yeah, going back to Poltergeist, and you said that I didn't realize that the parents were stoners. Okay.
Oh, right.
They're smoking weed in the bedroom.
I forgot about that part. Yeah.
And then, like I said, the oldest daughter is a slut. It's just so hilarious.
It was reflective of the family struggle. Okay?
No,
The struggle wasn't just that the one kid got eaten by the TV. There was more to it. It was deeper. What about the Evil Dead films?
I unfortunately have not seen those.
Oh, I can't believe you, man. They're one of those great where it's horror, but it's kind of comedy. Like, it's such a ridiculous situation, and there's always, like, way more blood than there should be.
Yeah.
And especially they made 3 movies. This is where you have Ash, and this was directed by Sam Raimi, the director of Spider-Man and the director of Darkman, one of our favorite movies. Yes. Liam Neeson, Darkman.
Yes.
So this is like a cabin in the woods premise, and there's some evil stuff that happens. And then Ash, who's played by Bruce Campbell, the immortal B-movie actor Bruce Campbell with the great chin.
The greatest chin ever.
Great chin. He has to fight him off, right? So that happens in the first movie. The second movie is sort of a reboot of the first movie, because I guess they had a little bit more money.
Yeah.
The first movie was like made crazy shoestring budget.
Yeah. And
it was like at a cabin at a state park somewhere. Right?
They rented out the cabin.
I don't even know if they rented it.
They just snuck in.
It might have been guerrilla style all the way.
Yeah.
So the second one is sort of a reboot of that one. And then the second one goes right into the third one, which is probably the most known one, which is Army of Darkness. And this is where it goes into total madness. This is where he has a hand missing, and he's fashioned a chainsaw to attach to his hand.
Yes.
They're like, really, if you're going to watch Army of Darkness, I would say, and if that whets your appetite for more, go back and watch the other ones. But Army of Darkness is great.
Yeah.
Along those same lines is like a hybrid horror comedy type.
Okay.
There's Reanimator. I don't know if you ever saw that one.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Well, there's some like jokes. You're like, what exactly am I watching here?
I do remember some of that. Yeah.
So yeah, there's the hybrid type of movies like that. I also have written down here, Old Boy, with a question mark.
Oh, that's creepy.
That's creepy, right?
And very, that's fucked up.
That's
what
real
that
fucked
is.
Up.
Yeah.
And that's a whole. Remember, there was a whole like string of Korean movies there, like what was the one? Train to Busan with the zombies.
Yeah.
And there's the one. What's the one where the monsters are everywhere?
Is that The Host?
The Host. Yes, The Host. Those are pretty great.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
The Old Boy they redid. Spike Lee did it. I think Spike Lee.
And was it Thanos that was in it?
And Thanos was the old boy. That's right. Yeah. I think. Wait a minute. Wasn't the daughter Scarlet Witch?
Oh, really?
I'm almost certain.
Oh, effort. Research. Let's get on that. Old Boy. Excuse us, folks, while research
Old
gets
Boy,
on it.
the original Old Boy, even though it's a Korean movie and there's a couple kind of. Sometimes Korean movies, there's a little bit of a wonky, lost in translation situation or something. But I think that one that tension and that part where he's hunting him down, and he's been like, stuck in this room for however many years.
Yeah, it was like 10 years.
10 years,
Something
right?
like
He ate the same dumplings every day. And so he like tasted every dumpling in town.
Yeah.
Till he went in there and he remember that scene with the hammer?
Oh, yes.
Where it's just like
It's
one
great.
long shot down the hallway.
Continuous
and
ass
he's just
beating.
beating dudes with a hammer. And you're like, this is amazing.
Research came back and it is Elizabeth Olsen, which is Scarlet Witch.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
It was in the stars back then.
wow, that's weird. So he banged her, who was his daughter in that movie, only to...
And Samuel L. Jackson was in it.
Was he the guy?
He was...
Was he the guy pulling the strings?
I think so. Cheney?
I think
they
he
probably
was.
changed his name in
I
it.
think he was probably the guy. Wow, Avengers reunion.
Yeah.
Slightly less accessible story than Avengers. I don't know if
Yeah.
Disney would take a crack at that one, but yeah, I got old one now. Here's another one. This might not be just like straight horror, but what about Guillermo del Toro and his whole visual style?
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, it is kind of creepy.
Yes,
it's
it
sort
is.
of unsettling if you're talking Hellboy or you're talking even The Shape of Water. There's some weird sort of horror elements. Beyond the fish monster
Beyond
sex.
yeah.
Beyond.
What do you call it? It's not bestiality. That would be...
I think it's
it
bestiality.
bestiality?
I mean, he is a fish. He's a magic fish, man, monster.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Aqua... Go ahead.
But, Blade 2, he has a definite visual style of horror that could be in movies that aren't necessarily horror movies. That I think is really effective. I mean, I love Del Toro movies, but I'm totally biased on that one. So.
Yeah, I was thinking about it today. There's just so many different subgenres of horror.
Yeah.
That get you, like the Saw movies. The first one, I think, just the psychology of it. Oh my God,
Yeah.
You're presented with this choice, and then all the movies afterwards, it was very formulaic. You knew what was going to happen, but then you're like, oh, what kind of weird situation they're going to put in?
Oh, right. Yeah. What's the crazy elaborate?
Yeah. What would I do? Type of thing.
Right.
There's The Quiet Place.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I absolutely enjoyed that one. Yeah. And it was the absence of sound that made it so scary to me.
So it's almost a sensory thing.
Yeah.
And that movie, you said it's short.
It's relatively short.
It's
maybe
brisk,
an hour and a half, maybe.
Brisk. There's no sound. I mean, it's simple.
It is very simple.
So do you think they complicate them too much sometimes?
Definitely.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Definitely. They put way too much out there to set up a story that's just stupid.
And
it's
A Quiet
simple.
Place, you told me about I haven't seen it yet, but they establish that it's a family.
Yep.
And you do kind of care about what happens to them, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right.
It's from the get-go. They don't tell you a story of how these things came to be.
It's great.
But the great thing is, if you're an observant person and just watching the movie and seeing everything else than just the character, you get the story. Because newspaper clippings talk about it. Yes. If you're paying attention, yes. If you're just there and watching the dialogue and seeing what's happening, you still have no idea what happened.
Right. And that's great because it's real weird in movies when somebody stops and explains everything that's happening in that movie. Right?
And in that case, you can't because you're going to make noise.
You're going to make noise and they're going to come get you. That's right. That's great. All in all, though, would you say that horror movies, is it a genre that you seek out? Is it a genre that you're actively pursuing?
I don't think so. Personally, no. It has to be something unique and that I haven't seen before that'll get me okay, I want to check that out.
I think when they're so bad that they're hilarious, I'm probably like a schlock horror type of thing I'm probably interested in. But I don't know that once people are like, oh, no, you need to see it, it's scary. I'm like,
right.
I'm like, okay, fine.
Sure, whatever.
I'm like, what's scary is bills and, things that I have to do as
just
an adult.
follow our life one day.
Yeah.
It's just this greatest horror movie ever.
So terrifying. I don't think. But, I think it's like one of those things, if I had more time, I might go back and look at some of those. like classic horror movies or whatever. But at the same time, I kind of get what's going to happen.
You get what's going to happen, and it's more of just like, well, it's part of history. I should just kind of check it out.
Like, let me just have a look at that stuff. I mean, I did take a look at Suspiria, which is this classic Italian horror movie, and they're redoing it. It's actually coming out.
Spaghetti horror?
Spaghetti. It's funny you say that because there is a unique soundtrack in it that makes it really... That's probably the best part. There's a weird soundtrack, and everything is lit in a way that is completely unnatural. Like everything's like real vivid, oversaturated colors.
Interesting.
And you can like see where they've like put like a red light under a chair.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird, but it's kind of cool too.
Okay.
The actual movie itself, total jump though, not scary at all. But they're redoing it, and it's going to have Dakota Fanning.
No,
that's not right. It's going to have...
I'm saying just no to her.
Is Dakota Fanning the one from 50 Shades of Grey?
No,
Who am I thinking?
Wait a minute. Research
department.
On that.
It's going to have Tilda Swinton in it, who's always unsettling.
Always weird.
Always unsettling.
Dakota Johnson.
I knew
you were right. State.
I had a Dakota. Is that South Dakota Johnson?
Yeah,
or
exactly.
North Dakota Fanning. So yeah, Suspiria is coming out. Pretty interested in that. But overall, no. I don't know that the like horror movie monster coming at you thing does much for me.
Doesn't do anything for me.
I do think the suspense and weird situations. Remember, did you ever see Audition? To go back to like Asian.
Whoa,
movies.
yeah. That freaked me the hell out.
Those movies are really weird, right? It's something like that, which I don't know if that's. I guess it's a horror movie, right? Is it a suspense movie?
It's a horror movie if you're that guy.
I guess like if you're the old boy, that's pretty terrifying.
Terrifying.
I've been locked in a room for this many years, and now I'm
free
hypnotized to have sex with my
daughter. Didn't even know.
Oh no!
At that point, I understand why you cut out your tongue.
Right.
It's like, just do it.
Just jump out the window, man.
All right. We got to do some matchups.
Let's
do Spitfire matchups. I didn't really give it much thought, but
I didn't give it much thought either. I feel like it's something we could do, though. How about Jason versus Mike Myers?
Yeah, so...
Unstoppable axe murderer.
Unstoppable. So are they in space? Or
yeah, well, we know Jason has the upper hand in space.
Yeah. I think.
Is it Halloween?
Oh, but does that give Michael Myers an advantage?
Maybe his strength is by the day. Like because it's Halloween, he's really strong.
Right. Well, do they both come out? No, they don't both come out on Halloween.
No. Jason comes out Friday the 13th, man.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah, that's right. So did they ever meet?
Well, there was a Jason versus Freddy movie already.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and I'll forget how that played out. I'm guessing they both went down somehow.
Have you ever seen UFC Dan Severn versus the Japanese guy?
No, I know Dan Severn.
Okay. There's a clip on YouTube where he goes to, I think it's Pride.
Oh, okay.
And he fights this big Japanese guy, muscle guy.
Yeah.
It's about 2 minutes of them grabbing each other and punching each other.
Yes,
I think that's what happens. I think Jason and Michael meet, they break the knives, the blades off at each other.
And then just...
And it's a constant punch fest.
Just a punchy up, punch.
Punchy.
Punchy.
And I think they do that so much that they rumble and tumble into a town and they just go on a killing spree, forget about each other.
Oh, so you think it's they have a punchy, and then they're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, what are we
There's
doing?
all kinds of innocent victims around.
Yes.
Why don't we team up?
Especially nowadays, if people are recording it.
Oh yeah,
right. Because I mean, how do you not record
Michael Myers and Jason having a fight?
Check these out, guys.
Okay, so you think they team up and then they're buddies for a while? After a while, they become buddies.
Probably.
Yeah. You got any more? How about what's something good to go up against like the alien xenomorph?
Gremlins.
Swarm of gremlins?
Yeah.
And one xenomorph?
Yeah. But that goes to like, would you rather fight a horse-sized dog.
No,
for
yeah.
$10,000.
Job interview question.
Yeah.
Would you rather deal with one normal
Well-
xenomorph or 5 gremlins?
So they already have Alien and Predator, obviously,
Yep.
right? So how about a showdown of the Alien and the Prometheus dude? 'Cause he didn't
David? Michael Fassbender?
No, the actual like Prometheus being, whatever that.
Oh, the engineer guy.
The engineer, yeah, because we never saw them go at it, right?
Except for when they woke that one up and he was real mad. Remember that?
He was mad at the people.
Yeah, why was he so mad at the people?
I don't know.
They never really explained, like, why would he be mad about that?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, but...
He was like 18 feet tall. Or
Well,
something.
didn't we get the engineer versus the alien?
I don't think
And the
so.
alien got him, right? At the end of Prometheus?
What the hell was I watching? Did I miss this?
You probably just have blocked Prometheus out of your mind
Probably.
because it's a bad movie.
Yeah. Okay.
I like Alien and Gremlins.
Yeah.
Is there a room full of stuff?
Yes.
Because Gremlins were pretty good at using things that were
Right.
around.
And Gizmo's gonna use his arrow.
Oh, wait a minute, this is
bow and arrow.
Gizmo? This is Gizmo versus
Oh, if it's
Alien
Gizmo,
Xenomorph?
forget.
That
Yeah, let's
Xenomorph is dead.
Yeah, let's put Gizmo in the
Gizmo was a killer, man. He
That's
killed a bunch of those gremlins.
He did. Yeah, I think Gremlins would take it.
I mean, gremlins seem to be able to work in unison.
Yeah.
No, if it was an equal amount of aliens versus gremlins.
Oh, forget it.
Yeah, forget it. 'Cause- Well, is the blood gonna get on? Because they're short.
That's interesting.
So if they're gonna have to get close to the alien. Does the acid blood then burn through them?
Or does the wetness of the acid make them multiply into an acid gremlin?
Yeah, because those alien guys are always wet. It's always a goo.
That's true.
There's
There's some dripping.
There's always some drippy drips.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's what it is.
The other little mouth comes out. The other little
Exactly.
mouth comes out. Okay, so he's got Gizmo down, right? And
Yeah.
he's he's about to go in for the
Right.
final thing. Here comes the little other mouth inside
Right.
the mouth.
Drools.
Drippy drip right on him. Gremlins
Convulsive
everywhere.
gremlin. Gizmo.
Alien's like, oh man, this is cool. It's kind of what I do.
Yeah. Oh, we team up. And again, they just
And
team up.
then they become buddies. Yes.
Oh, that's perfect.
I love it.
What about the somebody that can hold its own against the evil genius that was the guy from Saw, Jigsaw?
Okay. So how
Remember
about
that psychological?
how about Jigsaw versus the guy who was pulling the strings in Old Boy?
Oh,
Right?
who can? Ooh,
I feel like the guy from Old Boy was definitely in the long game,
that's what I'm about to say.
right?
So Jigsaw wouldn't know until the end when they meet that apparently in the past 10 years
he wronged
could-
him somehow.
Yeah.
Like in passing, he wronged him. And
Mhm.
it wasn't even him. Remember, it was the guy's buddy.
Right.
Jesus, what the hell was the matter with that guy in Old Boy?
Right. Or you have the people that ran the hostel.
Oh, from Hostel.
Yeah, from that whole like torture ring. Versus,
Texas Chainsaw Massacre family?
yes. Yes.
In a chili cook-off?
Chili cook-off. Oh, how many alarms? Oh man.
Well, I think the Jigsaw Old Boy bad guy, that's tough.
They would be working at each other for a very long time. Because even Jigsaw had a whole bunch of time to set up.
Yeah, but I mean, his was still, you feel like he got it done in a weekend, right? I mean, he probably didn't have to.
Probably.
He didn't have to take years and years.
Yeah.
Imagine having to pay to have that. What, there was a whole hotel in Old Boy.
Yeah.
He went and released everybody. Did he release everybody?
No, no. He had other people there. Oh man, he had other people there.
He had all kinds of stuff in the works.
And he just released him. Oh my
There's
God.
a service for that.
There's a whole bunch of old boys in there.
Apparently, there's a service in Korea.
Yeah,
Like
the
if
old
you
boy
need somebody
service.
taken care of for 10 years.
What if
Yes.
the other room was Saw 1? You don't know.
Saw 1's happening next door.
Yeah.
We've got all kinds of services. Do you need somebody that has to cut his own leg off?
Yeah.
Do you need a psychological mindfuck after 10 years?
Do you have a 10-year game plan?
Yeah, you tell us. We work with you. We customize your experience. Do you want to just tear somebody's dick off with a pair of pliers?
Yeah.
We got that too.
One last one for you. Because you mentioned the family Texas Chainsaw.
Sure.
Now, is this Matthew McConaughey's?
This is going to be any iteration that you care
Okay,
for.
so
I was thinking more original recipe Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I'll do the new one, Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey,
Right,
scariest of all.
Right, all of his family. Versus the Rob Zombie family.
What was that one? The Devil's Reject?
Yes.
Is this like Who I'd Rather Hang Out With?
Wow.
Or is this a Who Wins in a...
Who wins in a crazy...
In a fight?
Because I think the clown dude, I think...
The clown dude is kind of your ace in the hole, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's pretty freaking weird.
He's freaking badass.
Yeah. Do clowns do anything for you? Clown? A lot of people are really terrified of clowns. I get why people are terrified of them.
Yeah, but...
They don't do much fun. Yeah, I think Sid Haig is his name. Is the clown guy? Yeah, I think he takes the Haig.
Yeah.
Because on the other ones, it's just McConaughey. McConaughey.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey man,
Shirtless
you got
and
crazy, crazy clown.
All right. What we got here?
And these chainsaws.
Anything else?
I think that's it. I mean, horror movies. I think, especially this time of year, I do get in the mood, and I'll watch a few.
Yeah.
But
then so many suck.
So many do suck, and then you feel like, boy, that was a real waste of time. And there's so many horror movies where I feel like the first act or the first little bit of it, and you're like, yeah, and then it like just sort of falls apart.
There's some kind of stupidness that happens.
Yeah, and you're like, well, that was silly.
Why'd you do that? You just ruined it.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess it's hard to. It's probably an easy thing to, as somebody who's never made a full length movie.
Right. I mean,
probably something easy to like set up the premise.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't it be scary if this happened and this happened? But then you're like, well, how do I get out of this? You know, how do I get my way?
But that's a sad thing too. Is like, what if they're just people like us? Like, oh man, wouldn't this be awesome? And like, yeah. They write it and they get the money, and then they're like, let's change it. The studios are telling them to change it.
Oh, like the studios are like, no, we have to.
Yeah, we can't do it that way. That was a great idea, but no.
Somebody has to survive.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. We've talked about the movie The Thing. Like, none of those dudes make it. Right?
The dog. Yeah, the dog's the only thing that made it, right?
Well, I mean, it's implied that they're going to sit there and freeze to death.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
He's sitting there.
The dog did not make it.
No, the dog didn't make it.
No.
But it's like implied that they're just going to sit there and freeze to death until. But then it's like, well, is the thing was frozen before?
Yeah.
Is it going to come back?
Yeah. Is it gonna? Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah.
So many questions.
So many questions. Horror movies. I guess horror movies that leave you questions at the end are probably the best.
Yeah, even though they're the least satisfying in the sense of like, oh, I want to know what happens.
Most unsettling.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Like that was the Event Horizon thing's really unsettling because what the hell's going on there?
What's going on with No Grant?
Dr. No Eyes.
Yeah. Anything else?
I think that's it. You want to give them the contact info again?
Yeah. So again, guys, thank you for listening. We greatly appreciate it. You can reach us at theinnerworldpodcast@gmail.com, and of course on Twitter @innerworldpod. Send your questions, send your matchups, any topics that you want our opinions on. We'll gladly accept them. And
any sort of feedback, guys. Let us know.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening, and peace.
Thanks, everybody.